Welcome into Sports Betting with Donnie, presented by RightWager.com. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it here. Sunday afternoon, 12 o'clock here, right here on my YouTube channel. Also broadcasting on a couple different platforms here, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. Obviously, I just said YouTube there as well. So we're going to get it started, get it kicked off here on Sunday. Good to be back and having some fun here. Welcome in, Eric. Welcome in, Al. Let's go ahead and have some fun today. I do have a lot of prop bets in, but smarter prop bets than last week where I took a lot of really long shots here. Got beat up a little bit on Sunday. Didn't able to get as many wins as I was hoping to get. But this week, I think that's all going to change here because I focused in on 3 games here that I think are going to make a lot of sense. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the show. Let's have some fun and kick it off here. No real time constraints here. Next week, we'll be back on BMR as they kick off the official week with NFL action, NCAA football action. So we've got a lot of content coming to you in that direction. But today, just on my own YouTube channel, I didn't want to sit this one out on Sunday because I know a lot of people like to tune in, talk some NFL, particularly an hour out before game time. Sort of pick my brains and, go over some last chance efforts here on what we think is going to take place this week in week 11. I see a lot of people filling in here in the chat box. Again, all over the place, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, however you're watching. Hallelujah and hello. But I do see most of the comments here, some coming through Twitch and also most of those from YouTube. So welcome in. Let's have some fun. If you didn't hit the subscribe button yet here on the YouTube channel, do it. Turn the notification bell on when I go live here on the network. You will certainly get to know that here. But let's not waste any time today. We got a nice little, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, however long it takes here and have some fun. Money Channel, Colts +7 and money line. Yeah, feeling them Colts here. All right, let's get into it now. We got a terrible game to start off today, right? Detroit and Cleveland, 451, 452. Yeah, Boyle's going to start a quarterback here for the Detroit Lions. They are a horrible, horrible team. Probably the least talented team in the NFL, but you're going up against the Cleveland Browns. That line is 13.5 at FanDuel, 13 at Bet365, 12.5 at DraftKings, 13 at PointsBet. So roughly, let's say 2 touchdowns here. What's up, Jeremiah from Ireland? How you doing, buddy? Does anybody want to take Cleveland in this game? But at the same time, do you want to take the Detroit Lions? It's rainy forecast, going to be terrible weather in this one. So if you take a look at a total that opened up at 44.5 at FanDuel, now sits at 42.5. It seems like under. What's good, Jeff? It really seems like an under. It really seems like an underplay to me. Will I be betting this game at all? Absolutely not. But are you seemingly trying to find value? Is Nick Chubb just going to go for 275 yards on the ground in this game? Donovan Peoples-Jones is inactive in this one. Landry on one leg. David Njoku going to save the day at tight end. Baker Mayfield all banged up and even more injured than he was even last week. But that tells you how weak the Detroit Lions are. Starting Tim Boyle at quarterback. There's no synopsis on this game for me. There's no way around it. There's no value on this one. Matt Brat says Nick Chubb anytime touchdown boosted to +100 on DraftKings. Not a bad. He's going to score today. Joshua Garay, I really love your Eagles. Say they win today. I also, once we get to that game, but I know I share as many things as I can on Twitter with you guys. I really do, and I love it because it's a lot more fun to, because I've made a lot of money behind paywalls here, right? Taking in bets, selling bets, packages, and stuff like that. But it's a lot more fun sharing, and I've had a great season. A lot of fun here, 12-5 on team totals, which we do have one. Looks like the only team total we're going to have here on the week, though, is tomorrow night on Monday Night Football with the New York Giants. I was really interested in the team total for the Baltimore Ravens, but obviously Lamar Jackson is out, and you can't dip your toes into that. Can't do it here. Yeah, I know. We should really skip this year. We should. We'll get to that Bills game in just a second. But Detroit and Cleveland, 12.5-point spread. Terrible game overall. I'm out on that. There's no way I can bet this unless you're taking like a Nick Chubb, as I said, touchdown prop. Somebody wrote in the chat box there. Maybe Nick Chubb rushing prop. But outside of that, it is a terrible football game. Let's not waste any time here. San Francisco and Jacksonville, 453, 454. Ticket count 7% here coming in on the San Francisco 49ers, and why not? Everybody saw them past week. Hey, they destroyed the Los Angeles Rams. They're going to do the same for Jacksonville. I agree they should beat them. But from looking from a perspective here, the total 45.5 across the board. Side opened up at 6, now sits at 7 at FanDuel. There are 6.5s out there. And of course, if you're looking about San Francisco, you're going to take the 6.5. If you're going to take Jacksonville, you're going to find somewhere that's going to get that 7 stuff or 7 line. But having a look at this game overall, San Francisco should win this game. But are they coming off a letdown week after pummeling the Rams in prime time? I don't think so, because I think they're more invigorated as opposed to a flat letdown spot in the year. Now, you are going on the road cross country against a team that's not very good in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's offense stinks. So if I'm looking from a betting perspective in this game, and I will not have any piece of any team in this game whatsoever, it probably would be the under 45.5 in this game. I think that would make the most sense. Why? Because I don't know where the explosive plays are coming back. Jacksonville's offense has been downright horrendous the past couple weeks. Rookie quarterback, San Francisco getting a little bit healthier on defense. They'll have a nice pass rush in this one. And how much damage does San Francisco have to do on offense? Are they really going to push it? Are they going to get 28 points, 35 points? Can they? I mean, sure, they can do it. Jacksonville's not very good on defense. But the simple fact is you're just looking to pick up a W in the NFL, particularly on the road. And Jimmy Garoppolo, not the most explosive player. We certainly know that. Made a couple nice throws last week. But every time he's in the pocket, it seems like, hey, let me get the ball out here, 5, 6, 7-yard plays. I can't buy that. Can't buy into that here. But again, this game, not all that interesting overall from a betting perspective. As I said, again, looking towards the under. No real weather concerns in that game. Biggest weather concern probably is going to be in that Detroit-Cleveland game, which again, if you guys are betting, anybody out there actually betting that? Anybody in the chat box watching that, betting that, Detroit-Cleveland game? Or even, what are you taking it? A teaser, I guess, if it's 19.5 for Detroit? Good luck with that one, right? Sheesh. Keep moving forward here. Indianapolis and Buffalo. All right, let's have some fun on this game, right? Really good one. SD says, why Ravens down to a pick almost? Someone out. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is out in that football game along with Hollywood Brown on the outside too. So there's not a lot to love about the Baltimore Ravens, whose usage rate is based on Lamar Jackson. But we'll get to that in just a few moments here. Let's go Indianapolis and Buffalo. Across the board, 7s. Gave out on the show for the win on Bookmakers Review. I like 7.5 here with Indianapolis. Paid a little bit for it earlier in the week at -125. It's small amounts, because I have to give those plays out, play of the weeks. I still think they're going to be very competitive in this game. Can they win the game? Possibly, but they'll stay within the 7.5. So I do think Indianapolis is going to hang around in this one. Also looking at the total in this game, 49.5. Was a little bit leery of this total, guys, earlier in the week because I thought we might have a little bit different perspective on windy conditions and some rain. Looks like the kickoff, 50 degrees and like 10-mile-an-hour winds. That is wonderful at this time of year in Buffalo, particularly taking a look at the end of November. I like that. I think they can hang around. Now, also, the prop bets I'm on in this football game, and this is going to be a common theme. There's 3 games that they have some pretty good game specials on overall. The Bills and the Colts today. Touchdown rush and a touchdown pass from each side today, which means the Buffalo Bills run a touchdown in, and also the Indianapolis Colts run a touchdown in. Matched up with Carson Wentz throwing a touchdown in this game. Same thing with Josh Allen throwing a touchdown. Doesn't matter when it comes. They can have 0-0 on the board at the half. And the second half, they can each throw for a touchdown and each run one in. I love that bet. It's plus 260 here. So Bills, Colts, touchdown, or one rushing touchdown between the two, or with the two, and also same thing with passing. So 1-1, add that up. Second bet I have in this game. Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts with Wentz and Allen. Wentz to throw a touchdown in the first half and the second half. Josh Allen, 1 touchdown or more in the first half, 1 touchdown or more in the second half. That pays off at a plus 390 price. Those are the 2 prop bets I'm on in this game. So if we're looking from a betting perspective, I do think Indianapolis can hang around this. 7.5 was -125 early in the week. I thought that was a pretty good play. Sitting at 7s here, I would take the same thing as well. I think there's a legitimate chance they can win this game. Legitimate chance that they hang around. But if Buffalo smokes them out, probably going to mean they ran a couple touchdowns in and threw a couple touchdowns. So we got some nice base boards here as well with these prop bets. I don't know if the Bills are overrated per se, but we'll see there, Money Channel. We'll see what comes out of that. But looking at that game overall for myself, Indianapolis Colts, and now looking more towards the over as I was toward the under because we weren't sure about the rainy conditions, the windy conditions, 50 degrees, as I said. You should be fine in this game. 2 teams healthy in this game coming in. Frank Reich is a wonderful play caller. Same thing with Brian Daboll on the opposite side for the Buffalo Bills. I think we get a pretty good game in this one, certainly approaching those 49 points that you're going to need, but I think we're going to hit some home runs here on those prop bets in this game. Miami and the New York Jets, 457, 458. Another one of these games. Look, this is the 4th game we're just going to cross over right now, right? 4th game. Detroit, Cleveland is useless for me. San Francisco and Jacksonville, useless for me. Indianapolis and Buffalo, fantastic game. Miami and the New York Jets, it's a useless game. Did anybody out there bet this one? Because I know, did you open the book this week? Oh, man. Really got to get involved in this game with Joe Flacco, a quarterback. Not for me, man. Not for me at all. Even though I do, I like the Jets' offensive line. Getting the wide receivers back healthy is good. Same thing with the running backs. Joe Flacco's a veteran quarterback, but their defense is horrendous. It's horrendous. But then you look at the Miami side of the football, right? Down a couple wide receivers, going to lead on Jalen Waddle. Mike Gesicki, a lot of tight end. Maybe Tua Tagovailoa plays well. But the better team in this game is the Miami Dolphins. But again, I don't really feel that it's a need to play for me. Emza, Jets should be the play, but it's Miami for me, right? I would actually feel better about the Jets if Mike White was terrible last week. So a lot of people are terrible against the Buffalo Bills. Let's start Mike White in this game. At least I know I'm going to get somewhat of a decent athlete back there with Joe Flacco will be cowering here. But not for me at all. And I was just wondering if anybody had actually bet that out here. Live Ones Media has the under in the Lions-Browns game. Yeah, that's about the only way you can go in that one, right? Rainy forecast. Cleveland handing off to Chubb. Detroit with a quarterback that's going to get his first playing time in the NFL. Doesn't look all that great for me. Vital says there's a few high-level analysts out there saying Jets +3 promoting it high, too. Good luck with that one, man. The worst thing you can do, like I always talk about, like, being a handicapper and what makes the most sense, what you can get involved in. Just try not to outsmart yourself. Hey, Joe Flacco's playing. I think I'm going to get a good game. You think? A little bit better than that. It's just the way it is. Just the way I think it out here. Ramstein Red. Jets players love Mike White. Makes absolutely no sense. Well, yeah, I know. Flacco's not your future anyway. I mean, Mike White probably isn't your future anyway, But at the same time, okay, I get it. I understand. Forget about that game. Let's keep moving here. 459, 460, Washington, Carolina. Taylor Heineke, Cam Newton. Now, this is an interesting game. Why? Because Cam Newton's going to be the starting quarterback once again for the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton's not a great passer. He's not just going to he didn't find the fountain of youth and go back to 2015 where he can throw, 30 touchdowns a year and be the MVP of football. It's not going to happen. But he can be effective on the ground in this game. And if you're taking a look at Washington, the interesting concept here is Washington is pretty good against the run as a defensive unit. Chase Young's not going to play in this game. That's going to be a big loss. But they're usually susceptible on the back end. But Cam Newton's not a passer. And also keep in mind, like Cam Newton's just back on this football team. He's not a guy that's been there 6-7 months. Hey, man, I know the whole playbook. I'm ready to get after it. There's going to be a limited playbook for Carolina. But the one thing I do like in this game that I did bet, Cam Newton to score a touchdown along with, it's the same game parlay. Cam Newton anytime touchdown along with Cam Newton over 28.5 yards. That's a plus 269 in this game. So Cam Newton should be able to run for 30 yards. I don't care what his passing yards are. See what I'm doing here? Like I don't like him as a passer at all. But you saw last week. You're trying to tell me in this game, Carolina is at home. It's first and goal from the 1. Cam Newton lines up in shotgun formation with Christian McCaffrey to the side. Is he giving Christian McCaffrey that football? Is he? Even if the play design is correct? Even if the defensive end crashes down on Cam Newton? Is he going to leave that football in there, take the hit, and McCaffrey walks in? Or is he just going to pull that football out, take it, say, I'll carry that defensive end into the end zone with me? I think Cam Newton's scoring today. And if I think Cam Newton's going to score, why not match it up with a total of 28.5 yards rushing? Cam Newton won anytime touchdown today and about 30 yards rushing for a price of $269. Sign me up on that, man. Sign me up on that. Cam's going to want to get in the end zone. He's going to want to do this. He's going to want to do the first downs that he does. He's going to be handing footballs to kids in the first row. Cam Newton should be able to score tonight. Be a high upset for me if he doesn't. But take a look at the game itself. You're seeing 3.5s across the board, and that's a big number crossing over from 3 to 3.5. You saw last week Washington. I don't think there's a letdown. Look, why would Washington have a letdown going against Carolina here? They're fighting for their life to maybe be in the playoffs, which I don't think they're going to get there. But at the same time, Carolina is a very good defense. Carolina shouldn't be all that electric on offense. Washington has a decent chance to win this game. And if you're giving me a 3.5, I'm looking that way here, man. I'm looking that way. Yeah, I like that, Emza. And also keep in mind, too, if you guys follow me on Twitter at RightSideVP, I put out this week because I was eyeing up Cam Newton props all week once we thought he was going to be the starter, which was basically once Monday morning took place here, right? We thought he was going to be in. And there was one rushing prop that was 50 yards and a touchdown for Cam Newton in the game versus Carolina, or the game versus Washington. I said, that's a really good bet. I'd probably take that. And then you see sometimes you have to just do some backlogging on the FanDuel Sportsbook and say, now, hold on, let me just go to the game itself. And I was able to get a better price at $269 with less rushing yards by what? About 21 yards. So you get a 21-yard difference in yards rushing for Cam and a better overall price. So sometimes you have to do this little checking around. Say, hey, this one makes a little bit more sense at this point, right? It just does. It just does make more sense. But from a game perspective here, it's actually the Washington football team for me. Give me the 3.5 today. Over under 43 tough, though, on that. That's a really low number. I mean, it is. Washington should be okay, even though Carolina's got a good defense. I think Carolina will be able to move the football his way. Sort of a stay-away game there on the total. But I do like the Washington football team getting the 3.5 points. Did I bet it? No, I didn't. But I'm just trying to go over every game and give you my thoughts on what would take place here. Emza says Carolina by a bunch. Could be. It could be, right? I mean, I'm not going to fault anybody for doing that. That's just my quick thought on that game. I don't have any money outside of that prop bet in that game here. All right, boys. Biggest line move of the week, and rightfully so. Why? Baltimore and Chicago, 461, 462. Huntley is going to be the quarterback now instead of Lamar Jackson. Why? Because he has a viral illness that is not COVID related, and he just wasn't able to get right. You saw him all week long, missing practices. Friday shows up, good to go for the game. Saturday, you hear the words about the illness popping back in. Sunday morning, not able to get it done. So Huntley's going to be the quarterback. -6s have now turned into -1s as a favorite for the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens down a couple players in this game, too. Marquise Brown, not going to play in this one, so no deep threat in this one. Your starting quarterback is down with Lamar Jackson, probably means more to his team than anybody else. Like Russell Wilson in Seattle to me most times, right? Like, man, Russ is down. I don't want anything to do with Seattle. But you take a look at this where you're saying, like, oh, boy, what is going to happen in this game with Baltimore? I don't know. So a lot of people, if you were right and you read the tea leaves and you saw the 4.5s or the 5s like this morning on Baltimore and you thought that he might not play, being Lamar Jackson, and he's not going to take the Bears at 4.5 or 5, that's good for you. That's the name. That's the name of the game here. Try to use the information to your advantage and make an educated guess whether a guy's going to play or not. Because how do we know it wasn't going to be like a rope-a-dope, right? Where it's Lamar Jackson doesn't feel good on Sunday morning, but Lamar Jackson shows up mysteriously at game time, rushes for 92 yards and a touchdown, throws for 250, and has this Michael Jordan flu game in Chicago for himself. So I wasn't willing to risk it. But the one thing I was looking forward to later in the week was actually trying to make a decision here on the Baltimore Ravens team total over. Obviously, now we're not doing that. But the Chicago Bears are a bad defense, and they're a banged-up Bear defense. Eddie Jackson's going to miss the game today. A couple defensive linemen, including Khalil Mack today, out. Obviously, he's on IR for the rest of the year. That's not a very good Bears defense. The Ravens would have been able to score points, but I'm going to lay off this game altogether. Anybody out there? Yeah, I don't have any thoughts on the Bears team total at 19 either, Rance. I read. Should they be able to get there? Possibly, but Allen Robinson not out there. There's not a lot of weapons in this game now, which brings me up to my next topic here. I fired on a wager. I believe this one was yesterday, too. David Montgomery, alt rushing yards at 40 yards. Justin Fields, alt rushing yards at 25 or more. And then I had Lamar Jackson's alt number at 50. That paid out at a plus 143 price, which I loved it. If I was getting a healthy Lamar Jackson in this game, that is a wonderful same game parlay. But at the same time, Lamar Jackson is now out. But you can't, the bet doesn't cancel out on the FanDuel Sportsbook. So you just remove Lamar Jackson from the equation. So now I'm sitting there with David Montgomery at a 40 or more yard day, which he's got. I love David Montgomery. He's healthy now. And obviously, now Lamar Jackson is out. Maybe a slower pace game where he's probably going to get at least 15 to 20 carries in here. He'll be able to get those 40 yards. And at the same time, Justin Fields, where you're not asking him to do too much, roll him out of the pocket. He just got to get 25 yards, but it's not going to pay out at plus 143 anymore. I was just knocking around some of the numbers once he was actually taken out of the game as an inactive. It's like a minus 180 price right now. So I can't get out of it. Would I have taken this before at minus 180? No, I wouldn't have. But hey, I'm still going to root it on the same because it's going to be active. So for me in this game, as crazy as it sounds, I'm on a minus 180 parlay between David Montgomery to get 40 yards in this game or more, and also Justin Fields at 25 or more. It makes sense, and I think it happens, though. Really, it does. It's going to happen for me. Next game, good one here, 1 o'clock, right here in the city of brotherly love, 463, 464. That is Trevor Siemian, the starting quarterback, versus Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. If you guys follow me once again on Twitter, I don't play very many sides here, but when I see a indication of what's about to take place with line movement here, I'm going to change that here. So I was able to get in earlier in the week here on the Eagles money line, which again, it was still a little bit late. I didn't jump the gun on Monday when the Eagles were a pick 'em or, getting a point in this game. I wanted to wait to see the injury information because truth be told, I was looking towards the Saints in this game because I thought Alvin Kamara would come back. And I think that New Orleans defense is very good and it'll be a hard fought game, which seemingly at home, the Eagles against decent football teams can't get W's. But I think that does change today. So looking at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, just sifting through, the Eagles now up to a -3, -108, and a money line number of -154. So I'm in on the Eagles in this game, and I put it out on Twitter a couple days ago. Eagles money line -130. I think they're the better team here today. I think I can trust the Eagles offense more than I can the New Orleans offense. If you're going to be down Alvin Kamara and your two starting tackles here on the road in Philadelphia, look, they're a good football team. Why? Because Sean Payton's a great coach, and they have a great defense. But I think the Eagles, for once, when I was saying the past couple weeks, like, I don't know if I'm going to look at the Eagles here, +1, +2, +3, or, slight favorites in a game, because I didn't think that merited a play on the Eagles. But this one today at 1 o'clock here in Philadelphia, I think the Eagles are the better football team, and I think the Eagles get the victory. They're now +3s, as I said, across the board. So that makes it a little bit tougher, because now you're expecting to cash your ticket where you need to win by close to a touchdown. Can they do that? Absolutely. But I wanted to take that out of the equation entirely this week. So I took them at -130 on the money line. And I think they can do some damage out here today. Thank you guys for tuning into the channel here, having some fun, talking a little NFL action here on a Sunday, right on my YouTube channel. So fantastic stuff. Love coming over here and talking. Keep in mind, next week, we'll be back on BMR on Sundays, both myself and Kyle, kicking it, having fun. And yeah, we're back on YouTube again. So good to reach out. I know it's been a tough couple weeks here where we weren't available on YouTube's on Sundays, but now you'll be able to get those thoughts in the chat box. Joshua Garay says, Trevor Siemian over 216 yards. I mean, should he? Yeah. Like, you can look at that number, 216. Like, that's down in those Justin Fields numbers where he's hanging a 206 today to throw over. Should he? Yeah. Most NFL quarterbacks should be able to throw for 200 yards in a game. Do I love it? Not so much on this one. Not so much. All right. Let's keep going here. Another wasted game. And I don't think I have any props on that Eagles game. I do not. But as I said, I do have a ticket here, money line. It was just $130, risk 130 to win $100. I think I can get that one done. Houston and Tennessee, another bad football game, and you're going to get some conditions here. The same way we talked about Detroit's game earlier with Cleveland, there's going to be rainy conditions. This one also is going to be rainy conditions for the Tennessee Titans. 10.5s across the board. Actually, DraftKings is showing a 9.5 as a favorite for Tennessee. I can't get down on this game. I got to tell you, though, like, Houston stinks, and I understand they stink. But this almost has the feel for me like I want to jump in and take the Houston Texans in this game at the 10.5. If I had to bet this game, I think I'll take the 10.5. Anybody out there? What's your thoughts on that? Anybody want to take the Houston Texans on the road? Like, look at Tennessee, man. Beating the best teams in the NFL week after week after week after week. Now get one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the NFL this week. But I think the Texans can hang around. Am I betting on it? No, I'm not. Hey, Jack Falk, Houston 9.5. I guess, again, if I had to play it at the 9.5, I still would take Houston. But wouldn't be surprised if Houston was down, 21-3 at the break. But I look at it from this perspective. Tennessee is going to win this game. It's sloppy running conditions. If Derrick Henry was playing in sloppy running conditions against the Texans, he probably would rack up about $180 on the ground and 2 scores and blow them off the field. They don't have him here. Foreman out of the backfield. Come on now. Adrian Peterson, stop the madness here. Stop it. That's a good one, Steve. Look, you're more of a man to me than me, I should say, to take this game. But I do think the 10.5 is correct. Ruffy Chu says, thoughts, Deonta Foreman, highest rusher, 34-1. What, for the league this week? I don't know about that, but that would be interesting if it did come back like that, right? It would be real interesting here. But that's my thoughts on the game. Rainy conditions, you're 44.5. I don't even know if you can lean towards the under, though. Like, Houston's really bad on defense. Like, Ryan Tannehill should be able to throw a couple touchdown passes in this, right? Yeah, Tennessee at home is dicey a lot, but Tennessee just is dicey all year long. But they're winning football games, man. Vrabel, plus 350 to win Coach of the Year, as it was. I don't know if is he still that right now? I think they probably would take it off once the games start. Let's see here. MVP, defensive player. Vrabel, 450, plus 450. So the top guys here, the top 4 guys, Vrabel's the favorite at plus 450 to win Coach of the Year. Belichick, 600, or 6-1. McCarthy, 6-1. Cliff Kingsbury, 6-1 as well. I like Vrabel. You're taking the chalk guy. Look, man, if you stop the league today, right now, Matt Vrabel's the head coach. Or excuse me, Matt Vrabel's the head coach that's going to win Coach of the Year. Jamie Helpelt, Devontae and Jefferson to combine for 175. I think that's interesting. I do think it's interesting. I do. And good reason why. We're going to talk about it right now. Green Bay and Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins out here doing some things. Opened up at 49.5, down to 47.5 across the board. Why is that? Aaron Rodgers' health. So you saw Aaron Rodgers come off the COVID list. Didn't look all that great last week, but did enough. Because Seattle was brutal on offense with Russell Wilson. But now you go on the road, and he has a toe injury. Did you see Matt Ryan with that toe injury on Thursday night? Yeah. Couldn't get around in the pocket. So if Aaron Rodgers is a little bit slowed down in this game, no Aaron Jones out of the backfield, this should be an interesting one here. It really should be. Because I still do think the Packers will be able to run the football with Dillon. But if you're asking me the more talented offense coming into this game, Minnesota Vikings. It's the Minnesota Vikings. 2 dominant wide receivers as opposed to 1 in Devontae Adams. Kirk Cousins is healthy, having a wonderful year. 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Dalvin Cook, probably my favorite running back in the entire NFL. They should be able to move the football here. And you're looking now across the board, right? Open up at 2.5 as a favorite towards the Packers early in the week. We're now seeing 1.5s and 1s across the board. I think Minnesota pulls the upset and beats the Green Bay Packers in this game. I do. I really honestly think that. I think you're getting the Packers at a good time in this game. I love the Green Bay defense. They should be able to put on a decent show out there. But if you're asking me who I trust more, it's not Green Bay on the road in this one. It's actually Kirk Cousins at home in that dome. He's got a lot more weapons to deal with, and he's healthy. Aaron Rodgers is not healthy. What'd they say? He sat out practice all week, had about 15 plays on Friday. He's probably going to shoot the toe up here. But anytime you have a foot injury and you're dealing on turf, that's going to make a difference here. What's up, Akbar? How's it going, man? Jack Falk says, giving Belichick Coach of the Year is like mid-2010 LeBron in the MVP. Obviously, Bill's the best coach, but people get bored. They always do. That's case in point. Case in point here. They used to do the same thing with Shaquille O'Neal. Hey, we give Shaq the... No, they can't give it to him again, man. Give it to Steve Nash. Let Nash have one of these. We always like the new stuff in here. Just like Giannis in the NBA. Giannis could go up and have 40 and 20 every single night. But I can't give it to him. It's going to be Steph Curry. Why? Because he rains down 3-point shots. That's what it is. In a dome. Yeah, it is in a dome today, Jamie. And I do think the Minnesota Vikings will win this game. And obviously outright, it's only 1.5 point spread. But early in the week when I gave the play out, it was +2. I did put a little bit of money on the Minnesota Vikings here. All right, next up, Cincinnati and Las Vegas. Joe Burrow, Derek Carr. This one's going to kick off at 4:05, East Coast time, 1:05. Out on the West Coast, 50.5 as a total. Slight favorite here now towards the Cincinnati Bengals. I can't say I disagree with that because the Raiders opened up as a 1-point favorite. But looking at this game overall for myself, I think Cincinnati can win this game. I really do. I really do. And also, same props that we looked at earlier. There's 3 games that I really zeroed in on here. Put $50 on each one of these props for some fun. The Bengals and the Raiders, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown apiece here in this game. That pays out at a 155 price. 2 good running backs, a couple good quarterbacks, decent passing games here. Doesn't matter when they happen. Each team to get a rushing touchdown, each team to throw a passing touchdown. That's at +155. Now, here's the big shot. Here's the big shot in this one, +500. +500 here. Derek Carr, 1 touchdown in the first half, 1 in the second half. And then you flip it over to the other side. Joe Burrow, 1 touchdown in the first half, 1 in the second half passing. If that takes it down, that's a 5-1. That is a 5-1 hit. So I'm on that. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that one, man. A lot of fun with that bet. But I do think you get points in this game, leaning towards points. Sort of shied away from betting the over itself because I figured some of these props would help out. You know, maybe Deshaun Jackson works a little bit more into that offense to make up for the missing Henry Ruggs as a deep threat. I think that makes some sense here. But there is a reason why, right, people? That this line currently is sitting at a 1 to 1.5. It's a coin flip game, man. Money Channel says Vegas money line in this one. I could see it. I could see it. I don't trust Cincinnati in November, Raiders or pass. You get a good pass rush. I can say that for sure. From the Raiders coming to town, or from the Raiders at home. In a dome, so you get the home field advantage there for the Raiders. But some elite, you can get some elite play at quarterback in this game. They're going to move the football. You got some great wide receivers on that Cincinnati side. A couple great running backs on each side here that can do some damage. I think we're going to have some fun in the prop markets. So I didn't bet this game per se, side-wise or total-wise, but those 2 bets there, +155 and a +500 in here. And again, if you look at my timeline on Twitter, they're all posted up there. So if you ever just go to that right side VP, scroll down, they're all up there. They're all up there. So, hey, I didn't get that one, or what was that one again, or where do you find it again? These are all, most of the prop bets I'm going to take are at FanDuel. I took a couple little smaller props here at Caesars and BetMGM because I like to dip my toes in some things that make some sense. But the primary ones there to cheer on and watch, it's going to be those ones going through. Arizona and Seattle. How about this today? Arizona doesn't look like, you're going to get another start here out of Kyler Murray. It's going to be, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here because it seemed like it was just supposed to be a simple ankle injury for Kyler Murray. Now we're going to get another Colt McCoy start for Arizona. Line opened up at a 1.5 point favorite here to Seattle. Now it's -3. I completely agree with it. I'm going to get no DeAndre Hopkins and Colt McCoy on the road. Who's taking Arizona? Is anybody out there taking Arizona? Anybody in the chat box? Like, yeah, sign me up for Arizona on the road again without my wide receiver and quarterback because it worked out so well last week on offense. Seattle's defense is playing better. He's the key ingredient in this game. What are we getting out of Russell Wilson? Because you said, Donnie, he still looks like he's going to look the way he did against the Packers. I'm out on this game entirely. I don't have any wagers in on this. But if I'm expected to get a better Russell Wilson than last week, which shouldn't be a lot to expect because he didn't do anything last week, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the only way to bet this game is Seattle. So if we take a look overall at Seattle, right? And Russell Wilson is healthy, running around, he's active, and he looks good. They should beat Arizona. And I don't even like Seattle. I saw Colt McCoy on the road with an offense that isn't going to move it. What, you're just going to hand it off to James Conner all day? Maybe. Yeah, Vitesse, exactly. McCoy's pectoral soreness. I mean, what are we doing here? Are we looking at under? Anybody looking at an under in this game, 45.5? Maybe. Hugo Valencia, or would you take a teaser? I'm assuming, what are you talking about? Browns under, Vikings. It's hard to tease unders, though, man. It just is. It's only one touch. You know what I mean? One fumble, one ridiculous play to happen. Not really big in teasers anyway. But that's an interesting one. Maybe a live betting opportunity, right? We're always perusing around. 425, only got 3 games, so somebody's going to want to get involved in something. I got to tell you, if Russell Wilson looks good early, I think Seattle should be able to win this football game and win it comfortably. But I just can't go into, I'm sorry, I can't go into the game like, hey, I think Russell Wilson's going to be really good in this one because he was the worst I've ever seen him in his entire career last week. And maybe that changes this week at home, but I'm not betting it before the game starts. All right, let's let the fun begin on this one. Dallas and Kansas City. Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes. Line across the board, 2.5. Big injury, man, big injury news this week, though, in this one, huh? Big injury news. Amari Cooper sitting this one out, COVID. He's actually going to be out for Thursday football, which is Thanksgiving. So he's already been ruled out versus the Raiders. CeeDee Lamb is electric. Good thing Michael Gallup's now back healthy, so you got 2 good wide receivers. Tyron Smith not going to play in this game, maybe playing on Thanksgiving, but they're looking more long-term here. And I gave out the Dallas Cowboys, getting the 2.5 early in the week, and it still sits at 2.5. So I'm going to ride it out. I'm riding the storm here. Also, I was a little bit more worried about weather conditions early in the week, which I'm not so much now. Close to 60 degrees at kickoff in Kansas City for late November. Sign me up. Windy conditions to start, 13, 14 miles an hour, but that's going to dip around 10 miles an hour later in the game. So nothing really to worry about. We should get offense here, people. We should get offense. Did you see Dallas bounce back last week? Woo! Did you see the Kansas City Chiefs bounce back last week? Woo! They should be moving it now. It's not as if we're moving it here, guys. And it's like 45.5, 48.5, 51.5. You need 56 points to cash this ticket. Do I think they can do it? I do. Did I bet that? No, I didn't. But I do think the Dallas Cowboys, and I can't pull it back. You guys watch the show on Thursday. Donnie, I bet the Dallas Cowboys. That's the way we do it. I have a small play on the Dallas Cowboys at 2.5. But I actually have more money on these 2 bets in the Cowboys game today here. And it is an odds boost also listed as well now. So I'm almost double invested here. Same bets we talked about in the Bills-Colts game and the Bengals and the Raiders game. Cowboys, Chiefs, 1-1. 1 touchdown rushing for the Cowboys, 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs, 1 passing touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs, 1 passing touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to pay at a plus 130 price. Love it. Absolutely wonderful. Then we double down here. Yesterday, these wagers were put in, by the way, except for the one I'm going to tell you about in a second. Cowboys, Chiefs, 1 touchdown apiece for these 2 quarterbacks, Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes, in each half. So again, Patrick Mahomes throws a first half touchdown and also does the same thing in the second. Dak Prescott throws the first half touchdown, does the same thing in the second. That's a plus 280 price. Took that yesterday in the door. And I sent a tweet that said, hey, look, I'm done pretty much my prop bets this morning unless we get something really fun or really good on the odds boost. Well, they gave it to us because they boosted the plus 280 to 380, plus 380 in this game. For Dak Prescott, 1 first half touchdown, 1 second half, and the same thing for Patrick Mahomes, 1-1. Love it. Absolutely, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I think Minnesota wins here, Combat Sports. I do. I think Minnesota wins the game. No more SPR. Just it's actually bookmaker review now. Follow them on Twitter, YouTube. But if you follow me, you'll see all the links when I tweet those out and all that good stuff there. So don't worry about that. We got all the content covered for you coming up tomorrow. Opening lines, bookmakers review. Back in action. Night game tonight. No, but again, Dallas Cowboys, I have them today. I think they win this game outright. It sucks that Amari Cooper's not going to play, but I can't pull back now and say, hey, erase that. Get that off the board. Now, we're going to ride it out here. But trust me, I think we're going to have a huge prop day today, which would be wonderful because taking much bigger long shots last week didn't work out for me. Wanted to settle in on some things that I really like and bet that stuff today here. But I think they're going to be a lot of fun. Edwards-Helaire over 39. I assume that is rushing yards, the Dapper Dad. Now, he's going to go through – this is one that you have some time with because it's a 425 game. They're going to work him out pregame on the inactives. And if they say, boy, he looks really good, then he might get some increased carries. But it's always tricky to bet a guy coming back first in that first week off of an injury after he's been out for a couple weeks here. Yeah, just hit the retweets, Eric, when they come out this week. You'll see it tomorrow. But back on YouTube, though, that's the key. Like, we're no longer just hanging out here, shooting it around on Twitter. We'll have a lot of good stuff going on and, work with a lot of good guys over there. And content game is strong, which allows me to come on here on a Sunday on my own channel, just have some fun, bet some games, and, talk to the good people out here. It's what I like to do. Sunday Night Football, Pittsburgh and the Los Angeles Chargers. Mason Rudolph listed as the starter, but Big Ben is going to be activated and playing in this game, which will help. They're getting 6 points here out of the Chargers. Didn't really break this game all that much down this week because I was waiting to see what Ben Roethlisberger would be back, but there's going to be a lot of match specials, game specials for this game later on tonight, which I'm certainly going to be looking into. Over under 47.5. Usually not loving taking overs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But when you look at the Chargers defense, it isn't very good. Chase Claypool looks like he's going to come back for Pittsburgh. Nicer conditions than what you saw last week in the rain. So maybe there's a chance for a total over because also keep in mind, a lot of guys going to miss this football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers on defense, which is good. And Ramstead Red said Chargers are going to beat up on the Steelers. They might. But I think Pittsburgh's going to have a fighting chance here, getting some extra ammunition back. And who would have thought they're like, hey, Big Ben might come back. That could help us. My goodness, times have changed here. Also, keep in mind, tomorrow we'll be doing a Monday show, the opening lines, which we're going to cover that Giants and Tampa Bay game extensively. But I also did bet this. It's my favorite team total of the week. So if you guys are watching right now, I don't have a surefire team total today. But I put it out a couple days ago on Twitter. The New York Giants team total over 16.5. It is juicy. It's expensive. I wanted to keep it below 17 points. The Giants are going to be healthy for this football game. They will keep this game close. I actually like the Giants getting the 11 points as well. But I thought it might be just a little bit easier for me to, just in case you're getting busted up at the end of the game, you can throw on that secondary. And Daniel Jones finally going to have Saquon Barkley back. Evan Ingram, who I don't like all that much at tight end, but at least he can run fast and maybe take a linebacker with him. Every single wide receiver is going to play outside of Sterling Shepard, who actually practiced late in the week. So the Giants love it over 16.5. I think they get, hey, Donnie, what about 18.5? I still think they get the 20 points or more in this game. I do. But I wanted to keep it under 17, just so if that game ends at 17, I'm picking up a W for a ridiculously low team total price. So keep an eye on that for tomorrow, but that's what I'm already in. That's already factored in. It's locked and loaded. Should be able to get it done here. So that is the card for today. And again, just to recap quickly here, got the Cam Newton touchdown and Cam Newton over 28.5 yards parlay at plus 269. This is a ridiculous one that I have, which was supposed to include Lamar Jackson, but now just gets shortened up to David Montgomery, 40 yards rushing, Justin Fields, 25 yards rushing. It's about a minus 180. So if you want to tail it, good luck. But I don't really like to play too many same-game parlays at minus 180, but it was supposed to be a 143 if Lamar Jackson was in. And then, of course, the Bills game, Bills-Colts, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bengals, Raiders, each one of those games, same wager. Touchdown rushing, touchdown passing for each team, and then each of the quarterbacks to throw a touchdown in the first half and second half. Price points are fantastic on those. So I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready to go for a really good day today. I'm excited. Going to sit back here, watch my Philadelphia Eagles, see if we can have some fun with that one and, sort of get involved in a lot of other things. But I'll be available on Twitter today. Hit me up on DMs. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. If you want to hit the subscribe button, please do that. Thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. Doesn't matter. I just like to come on and talk some NFL action here. Hopefully I gave you guys some information that could help you today and maybe cash in some tickets. But let's get some good luck today, have some fun, and kickoff is right around the corner, boys. Thanks again.